Alrighty, guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. It's your host, ID Jester, and we're going to try this again. The last episode here didn't go so well, so thank God I stopped it and restarted it, and hopefully we'll get things working to much better this time. So this is day number 589 for me in Warframe. Tonight will be basically 590, and I'm coming up on 600 days playing Warframe, and I'm at MR30 if you're not familiar with the channel and you're just looking to who the hell are you? I've been playing Warframe since 2016. I actually was in the beta and bought in the beta when it was kickstarted or whatever they called it back in 2016, I think it was. But then I lost that account because I couldn't remember how to use their name and password and everything. So I created a new account and called it IDGester1 and just left that other account and lost it. Probably, through the years, they probably got rid of it because it wasn't being used. And so I used my, IDGester1 account. So, I got to thinking today, what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to talk about Warframe's biggest problem in 2026. Warframe's biggest problem. So I'm just going to talk about it, explain what I mean about it. It's not that difficult to understand. And then I'm going to explain why I think it's the biggest problem and the issues I've had about this for a long, long time. And things to remedy this going forward if Digital Extremes, ever watches this video or anyone lets them know about it, kind of give them tips and tricks from a long-time player. I played, so again, my background, if you're not familiar with me or you haven't seen my channel or you haven't followed me, I played Warframe for many years and was hot and heavy in it, got all the way up to like MR 25, 26, 24, somewhere in there, and I quit. I just decided, it's such a time sink, and I've seen everything there is, I've done everything there is, and there's not much else to do. And I quit Warframe for 2 years. Almost exactly to the day, 2 years. I was 2 weeks short of 2 years of quitting, and I came back to it. I decided, give it another chance. And so I've been back with Warframe for about a year now and playing Warframe pretty regularly, not every day, but 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. I'm usually I at least log in every day so I get credit for my daily. And then I just get my couple of my standings, fill out some of my standings, run a couple missions or whatever. If I'm not doing anything, I will just literally try to log in and make sure I get my day in. So, what I'm going to do in this video is talk about the biggest problem in Warframe. And it's one big problem, and it is a major, huge problem that no one talks about. Well, I don't know, maybe no one, but a lot of people don't talk about. And so I'm going to give you my opinion on it. Again, I'm in MR30. I have, let me see how many Steam hours I have got in this game. 3,746.5 according to Steam today. Going into this video. So 3,765, I'm not, like some Warframers, are up in the 10, 20,000 range. I'm not crazy. I'm not that crazy. But I am crazy enough to be playing for this long. So let's talk. I don't know which is a better screen to look at. If it's better to, you know what? I think I'll just use the front camera. I'll just use the front camera so you won't have for right now anyways. Again, I'm going to give you the information, share with you, boom, 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 and then I'm going to rant and rave for like an hour until we have dinner, and then I'm going to go get dinner. And I'm saying everything that I say about this with love and with respect and, with somebody that's been playing for 589 days and 3,765 hours. So this is someone that's just trying to help and not bitch and complain about things. It's not my job to come home from work and just bitch and complain about somebody, complain about Warframe. That was like 2 years ago when I quit Warframe. Like everyone, it was very toxic. It was very, all the problems were a problem, and I just couldn't stand all the issues and the problems and everything like that. But since I came back, maybe like 3 years ago, since I came back, I've had a new experience with new thoughts on the changes and the updates. I basically quit Warframe when the Eximus units were introduced. They were being introduced to Warframe. That's when I quit Warframe, because I'm like, this is not cool. This is not, hey Barbara, how you doing? This is not the Warframe that I'm used to. This is not what I like, and you're making things artificially difficult just so you can say it's more difficult. And I still hate the Eximus units. I think they were the worst addition to Warframe so far, but that's not what this video is about, because we're gonna stay on topic. I have been known to get off topic. I've been known to rant and rave. I am the yelly screaming guy on YouTube. That's what I do with my sports games. That's what I do with my board games. That's what I do. That's what I'm known for. Like, if you know any of my people on my channel, they will say, Jester's the yelly screaming guy. He rants and raves, and my rants and raves are world famous. World famous. People know him all over the world. And so I'm gonna talk about the problem. I'm gonna rant and rave about it, but again, it's done from the aspect of love and trying to make things better, hoping that maybe someday this video will be viewed and maybe shared with the people that make the decisions in the game. Okay? So, here is the problem with Warframe. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we'll go on a rant and rave about it. The problem with Warframe in 2026, and the problem that's been in Warframe for years and years and years and years, is the fact that your game is called Warframe. It's about the characters that the people come to log in to play, right? So you are announcing to the world they are playing a Warframe, which is a special character that you play in the game. In the background here, you can see Loki, one of the 66 characters. The problem in 2026, and the problem that's been in Warframe for years and years and years and years and years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the years go by. The problem is that Warframe is named after Warframes, but you literally have 80% of your Warframes suck. They don't do anything. They're not exciting. They're just not worth playing. Like 80% of your Warframes are terrible. They just don't do anything. Like, all you're doing is running around with gun. They shouldn't name the game Warframe. What they should name this game is person that shoots gun is X, Y, and Z. Because it's all about what guns and what melee you're using with the characters. There are, I think last check, there was 66 Warframes in Warframe. 66 different characters. In fact, we will switch over here and move this out of the way. And as you can see, the best Warframe in the game is, of course, the Jester. Strangely enough, Mirage is the best looking character in the game. Alright? But there are currently 66 different Warframes in Warframe. Tons of variability. Tons of different characters. Tons of different special abilities. Tons of every one of them. Every single one of them, okay, comes with a passive ability. Every single one of them come with 4 special abilities that are supposed to separate them and make them do things differently and play differently and act differently than all the other Warframes out there. And they do. And they do that. They play differently, they have different abilities, and they just, are set up to play differently, which is great. And I love that about Warframe. That's why I keep coming back and playing. And after 2 years, I decided, I got to come back and play because I love that game so much. The problem with Warframe is, like, all of these characters, and you can see most of the characters I have 2 or 3 copies of. Most of these characters are, if you're rating them we'll do it like normal people. We'll go S tier, then you got A tier, which are really, really, really good. Then you have B tier, which are above average. Then you have C tier, which are, average Warframes. Then you have D tier Warframes that are just not worth playing at all. And then there's like F tier. So that's like normal people, S, A, B, C, D, and F. Just like a grade school card, right? The problem with Warframe is in 2026, and it's just getting worse and 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 worse through the years, unfortunately, is 80 to 90% of your Warframes suck, and they're right in the middle. They don't do anything. Like, they're not bad. They're not bad. They just don't do anything. Like Ash, terrible. Atlas is one of the good ones. Banshee, terrible. Doesn't do anything. Baruch is actually a good one. Caliban doesn't do anything. Chroma doesn't do anything. Citrine doesn't do anything. Cyto 9, he's pretty decent, but Dagoth doesn't do anything. Dante, really powerful, really cool. He's one of the exceptions. Amber, terrible, doesn't do anything. Equinox, probably the worst Warframe in the game right now. Excalibur, nobody plays Excalibur because he's terrible. Excalibur Umbral, he's just as bad as Excalibur is. Frost, doesn't do anything. Gara, she's one of the 4 superheroes in the game. There are 4 characters, which I will show you on the list, that are exceptionally good characters and break the game. Gara's one of them. Garuda, she's terrible, doesn't do anything. Goss, he runs around fast, big deal. That's all you do. Grendel, he eats enemies, big deal. He doesn't do anything. Geyer, she shoots out lightning balls and things like that. Doesn't do anything. Harrow, like trying to get this guy to do anything is like pulling teeth. It's terrible. Hildron is our second mama in the game right now. She's super strong, super powerful, can destroy anything by just looking at it. So super strong. Hydroid barely does anything. Anaros, wake me up when he does something. Avara, you can't move to do it. You have to stay still. In a Warframe game where you got to run around and kill things, you can't move. That's not good either. Jade, she flies around but doesn't do anything. Great. Cora is our third mama in the game, and she is super good. She's got the pet, she does the whip action, she's got the Strangledome, she gets extra loot. She's one of our 4 superheroes in the game. Cora, super good. Konami, nobody plays her because she's terrible design. Clairvaux, he's super strong with melee, but if you don't like melee, don't play him because he doesn't do anything else. Lavos, he was designed to get rid of energy economy so that you can just have a countdown counter on your powers. Nobody plays him because he's terrible. Limbo, everyone hates Limbo because of his design. Loki, like, what does he do? He's one of my favorite and my most played hero ever. And I love him the most in the game. He's my number 1. I use him for everything. What does he do? He turns invisible. That's all he does. That's it. That's all he can do. Big deal. Mag Prime, she's fine, like all the other ones. They're fine. They're not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking these guys are bad. They can't do anything. What I'm saying is, power structure-wise, you have a huge group that are just okay Warframes. Like, they're all the same. They don't do anything except for there's 4 superheroes and there's 4 really bad characters in the game. And I don't like that design, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So Mag, she's fine, but, doesn't do anything. Mesa, super strong, but again, you have to get used to her, reticle that shrinks down small, and it goes to like this blurry backgrounds. You can't see anything for some reason, which makes the game no fun to play. Then, of course, you have Mirage. I mean, she just makes copies of herself and shoots 3 guns instead of 1. Okay. Again, why don't you just name the game character that shoots gun? Like, if the guns are the most important thing, the name of the game should be, like, the name of the game should be about how the guns are the most important thing, not the Warframes. If the Warframes are the most important thing, then you should make your Warframes the most important thing. Necros, what does he do? He gets the extra treasure. That's it. Doesn't do anything else. Nezha, his main power no one ever uses, and he's got what? What has he got? He's got an ability to put defensive ring on himself. Big deal. Nidus, supposed to be super cool. He can turn into this infested and kill the infested and do all this stuff. But, I mean, you could take him to Steel Path for like a second and get killed. Nico, whatever the hell this guy is, he's supposed to be a mushroom that bounces around. Okay, fine. Boring. Nova, which is supposed to speed up or slow down enemies. Her second power is shooting this nuke out of your gun, or shooting a nuke at an enemy that you can literally shoot and then walk faster than the gun or the actual ball in the air. So that's broken. Nyx, I mean, she sends out a wave of chaos and makes enemies attack one another, and hopefully they don't attack you when they're attacking things. Okay, that's niche again. Oberon, they just reworked Oberon in 2025, and he still sucks. Octavia is our 4th super mama, who can do everything she wants in the game and just ignore all the rules for some reason. Araxia, she's a spider lady. She looks really cool. And she's got a great outfit and stuff, but again, if you don't want to be a giant spider running around, like, she doesn't do anything else. She looks great, but besides that, doesn't do anything. Protea, she just throws out a bunch of grenades that just do a bunch of damage in an area. So if you don't like just spamming your power to throw out grenades all the time, then you will find the game super boring. Corvex, he puts down a pillar that does a lot of damage. Again, if your Warframe is the main reason people come, like, the thing you should put into play, like this tower, should do something. Like, it should be a super cool ability. Revenant, the unkillable character, super strong, super powerful, but, like, you turn on his number 2 and then you just shoot with gun. Again, the name of the game should be I Shoot Things with Guns. Like, that should be the name of Warframe right now, because the guns and the melee are way more important than whatever your powers are on your actual Warframe. And that's, again, the problem with Warframe, and that's what we're talking about. Rhino, super tough, tanky, very, tons and tons of hit points, can charge through enemies and kill them all with a gun. Great. Saren, the toxic lady, sends out a wave of destruction, supposed to be super strong, super boring because you don't even see what she does. You're killing enemies in 2 or 3 rooms adjacent to you if you got enough range on your powers. So again, you're just casting your powers every once in a while, hoping to kill a bunch of guys. Boring. Sevagoth, again, any of these characters can be super, super strong if you build them with the exactly what you need, but they don't do enough. Like, if I take for me anyways, I know sure there's probably videos online of people taking Saren into Steel Path and dominating and doing this and that and blah blah blah. I've been playing for 590 hours or 590 days. I can't get it to work for me. I've got just about everything in the game. I've got 2 or 3 of all the characters. I've been on every single mission 1,000 times, and like, my Saren goes to Steel Path and dies, like, dead. Sevagoth, again, mid-tier. Synex, the free hero that they gave everyone that I had to buy because I wasn't in the game when they gave it away for free. But I came back and bought him. He looks cool, especially with his, what is this super cool outfit that I bought for him? The Toranthua set, which is super cool, right? He looks badass as hell, right? Badass as hell. He doesn't do anything. Like, sure, he spams his abilities every once in a while and throws a bunch of spears, but he like hops into the air. His point of view on his camera expands out so you can't see what you're aiming at, and then the spears come flying out in your eyes and your face, and you can't see what you're aiming at. And then you have all these explosions happening on the screen, so you're maybe get one kill if you're lucky. Let's see, who else do we have here? Temple, I mean, he's got a cool premise. He's like the rock and roll 1980s hairband guitarist, which is a cool concept. Doesn't do anything. Tatiana, one of my favorites in the game. I love her so much. She's one of my favorites. She flies around if you got to get used to the flying mechanisms, but it's so quick, so fast, it's so cool. But she's still squishy, dies, doesn't do anything. Trinity, very like one of the biggest tanks in the game, because half the damage or 90% of the damage she gets, she can link to other enemies and cause them to take the damage instead of herself. But like, all she can do then is shoot gun. Again, the name of the game should be I shoot gun, my character is X. That's what the name of Warframe should be, because the Warframes don't fucking matter at all. Uriel, I don't even know what the fuck to call him anymore. He's the newest hero, which is the demon hero, right? Which flies around with 3 other demons and does all these demon things. Doesn't do anything. Valkyr, super strong with melee. Was the invincible Warframe at one time. They got rid of that because it was broken, and so now you have to actually fight with her and do things. She's strong, but she was, if I'm going to say there's like S tier, which are the 4, she was probably in A tier. There's probably like 3 heroes that are A tier. Like, she's not S tier material. And yes, she can do steel pass stuff, but she's super, like, how does she prevent, like, enemies from killing her? Because her kit is so bad. Vubon, the mech warrior type hero, fine, not bad. Volt, fine if you want to move fast through missions. Besides that, doesn't do much. Varuna, again, supposed to be this melee pack of wolves things that they haven't figured out how to get to work yet for some reason, even though Varuna's been released like 2 years ago. Wisp, super strong because of her buffs. Like, she just gives buffs for free, but again, her buffs are to do what? Shoot with the gun. So again, the name of Warframe should be I shoot with a gun. Wukong, like, he's fine. The most played Warframe in Warframe is Wukong, according to what I understand. I have not looked at. I know DE has released the official online data from 2025. I have not looked at that. I have not watched any videos on it. I'm just giving you my information based on what I was thinking about today on the way home from work. Zaku, which is one of my all-time favorites. I love Zaku, but he's just in the wrong situation. He can't do anything. His powers are very wanky. Another one of the new characters is rides on her little K-drive and flies around using a pistol. She's fun, but she just doesn't do anything other than the gun. You know, I shoot with gun again. I know I sound like a broken record. Zephyr Prime, the bird, like, he does this, his what's it called? His gravity is like a third of normal. So when you fly, you're like fly through the air, which makes him almost unplayable. I would bet that he's probably the second least played hero in the game. Because of that, he's super strong in what he can do, but nobody likes the fact that, hey, I can't control my character. So, those are the characters in the game, even though I own 2 or 3 of each of the copies of them. What I'm saying in the biggest problem in Warframe in 2026 is the fact that you have several heroes, Warframes, in the game that are so broken and have such a combination of power level and power structure and what you can do with them. And those 4 being, again, Gara, who for some reason can literally just walk around doing 10 million points of damage. And I just did a survival video on her yesterday or the day before. And we were literally running around the map doing 10 million points of damage while having 90% damage reduction. Like, how is that fair that she can do that? Like, it's just broken. OP broken. Of course, we have Hildron, who literally can use her Balefire with the augments and literally wipe out a map of enemies, because you can now do an explosion of each of your attacks of not 4 meters, but 14 meters when you build her right. So anyone that's within 14 meters of the character that just got killed is also going to die, which means your groups of enemies in Steel Path that are 30 characters running down the hallway at you, you blow up the first one and he literally blows up the whole room. I mean, that's pretty strong. And that is an ability, not a gun. I should mind you. That is an ability, not a gun. The second thing I will say about Gara, let's go back to Gara, is her abilities are what make her S tier strong. The fact that I can turn on my Mass Vitrify, I think is, well, let's get the naming right so I don't get yelled at in the comments section. I can turn on my Splinter Storm, which will do a damage in an area around me. It also gives me 90% damage reduction there. You can see that on the screen there. And then all I have to do is cast Vast Vitrify every 40, let's see, what's the duration on this? Duration is 34 seconds, I think. So every 34 seconds, I can just cast this, which will reinitialize my Splinter Storm. My Splinter Storm does, again, in a half-hour survival mission or hour survival mission we ran the other day, we were running around doing 10 million points of damage. We were not shooting gun. I was literally just walking through the map, killing enemies. Check it out. And, of course, her Shattered Lash, which will swipe left to right, and you don't see it on this screen for whatever reason, but you can literally swipe from left to right across your screen and kill every single enemy that it touches, if built right. So her powers are just incredible, incredibly powerful. You subsume her third spot with silence, which means that none of the Xmas units can get away with their bullshit, and when the Acolytes show up, they can't turn your powers off, and you can literally just walk up next to them and do 10 million points of damage. So, again, doesn't have anything to do with guns. So that is superhero number 1. Superhero number 2, again, is Hildron, and it doesn't have anything to do with guns again. Again, I don't think Warframe should be about the guns. It shouldn't be about the melee. Like, these should be secondary items. And that's the biggest problem I find in Warframe is they're not. They are the most important thing with 90% of the characters, because 90% of the characters in Warframe suck and don't do anything unless they have a good gun in their hand. Like, it just doesn't happen. And like the good characters, another one being Hildron here, if we look at her abilities here, when she turns on Aegis Storm with her ability, all right, and you have the Aegis Gale Storm, right, she's going to be doing a boatload of damage based upon how many shields she has. She has 7,576 to start with before she starts ripping shields off with her pillage ability, right? So she's up in the neighborhood of 89 8,900 to 9,600 shields, and you're taking 15% of that and adding it as mass damage to your balefire attack, which is doing somewhere in the neighborhood of between 1 and 3,000 points of damage, and you're doing an explosion range of 7.5. But when you add in the additional damage and the additional projectiles, you're now doing, instead of 1 shot, you're doing 4 shots. Again, it's not about the gun, it's about her special ability. It's about her abilities, which is the important thing in Warframe. In my opinion, it should be the important thing in Warframe. Okay? So that's superhero number 2. Superhero number 3, of course, is Cora. And we look at Miss Cora, the whip lady. Like, what makes her so cool? Well, first of all, she's the only one that comes with a pet, which is super nice. So you get a free pet to add it to your, your attack. So you basically have an enemy, or you have an ally running around doing a bunch of extra things for you. And then, of course, you have your Whip Claw, which is your exalted ability that does a boatload of damage to everyone within, I'm just trying to remember how far is the Whip Claw. The Whip Claw goes, radius again is 7.25 meters. But normally you don't have to even worry about that because you're using your Strangle Dome, which sucks in all the enemies that are within 14 meters of it. And once they're attached to the Whip Dome, you just use your whip to whip the Whip Dome once, and it kills everyone in your Whip Dome. So, again, it's not about carrying the gun. It's about using your abilities and making your abilities worth a damn. And our last mama, sweet mama, is Octavia, who literally gets away with murder because she has the metronome, which will allow her to turn invisible for 35 to 40 seconds at a time. Yes, she'll have to refresh it every once in a while. She then sends out a mallet into an area, which attracts all the enemies over to it, because it's a noise drawing and inflicting the enemies. And the enemies decide that they want to shoot this thing, which will do all the damage based upon her amp, multiplied by a damage multiplier of anywhere between 0.27 to 2.16. So the damage they're doing, that they would be doing to you or any other Warframe in the game, they're now doing double to triple that to themselves, multiplied by all the abilities you have going on, plus, of course, Nourish at the same time. So you turn yourself invisible, you put a mallet in an area, all the enemies run in there and shoot it, and they kill themselves. And you just amp up the damage that way. And, of course, you sustain yourself by putting Nourish out there. Again, this isn't about guns and doing gun damage. This is about using your special abilities to be able to do things. And that's why I wanted to go over that, is the 4 superheroes in the game and why they're so important and why they're so badass and why I call them the super mamas, is because they use their super abilities to make them viable and make them do things in the game. And it doesn't matter. I can take a Baza, I can take the Boltar, I can take any weapon I want into the mission, because the gun doesn't matter, because it's about her special abilities and it's about using the special abilities that she has to do things. Now, I know there's probably some people that are going to come on the chat. They're going to watch this. And they're going to say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing." Blah blah blah. This character can do this. This character can do that. Okay. Yes, every single character in the Warframe game is mostly viable. The problem I have is, this is the problem I have with Warframe. I was sitting at work today thinking, are we going to go home and play Warframe tonight, or are we going to do something else, right? And I said, yeah, let's play some more Warframe. We played last night. We had a good time. Let's go ahead and play tonight. I got other things scheduled on Thursday and Sunday, and so, there's only certain days I can play Warframe. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So who are we gonna play tonight? And I was thinking, who am I gonna play? And I thought of a character. I think it was Banshee, and I said, nah, I don't really want to play Banshee. She's just not fun. And I thought, well, maybe I'll play Caliban. Nah, he's just not fun. And then I was thinking about Frost. Like, can I play Frost? Because it's been cold in Florida, like freezing cold. For some reason, I was thinking Frost, and no, and then I was thinking like Grendel, like, no, there's so many Warframes in Warframe that just don't do anything in the fucking game, and it's just, and here's the reason, and this goes to back generations, whatever you want to call it. I am a big board gamer. My channel's mostly board games. I play some computer games. If you look at like a board game, we're going to talk about it from Fantasy Flight called Marvel Champions. Like Marvel Champions, it's about using characters, right? And using all the cards to defeat the enemies, right? And they started coming out with the Avengers set, and then they did the Guardians of the Galaxy set, and then they did the X-Men set, and then they did the X-Force set, and they've been going through, and there's now I think there's 74 different characters in Marvel Champions or something. Let's actually look. Marvel Champions, how many characters? How many heroes are there? As of early 2026, the card game Marvel Champions features over 60 playable heroes. Are you gonna you can't give us the exact amount? Maybe there's an exact amount, but there's over 60. I think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 62, 64. So we'll say about the same amount as there is in Warframe, right? And Marvel Champions was released in Marvel Champions was released in 2019. So this game has been out for 7 going on 8 years, 7 to 8 years, okay? And every year they release 6, 8 new characters, new decks with new cards to play with and all that stuff. So there's some very good similarities in these games. Okay, and the reason I say this is because Marvel Champions does the same thing every game that's been in existence for over 2 or 3 years falls into this same trap. Is we got to release something new in the game to keep new players interested, to keep new finances coming in, to get people interested in coming back to the game. We got to introduce new things in the game, right? And Marvel Champions and Warframe are exactly the same in that endeavor. If we want to continue Marvel Champions, we need to release new Marvel Champions to play, and they have to be ones that are going to be oh, I have to play this, or I have to come back to the game. I got to pick this up. I got to spend my money on this. If Warframe doesn't get releases that people want to buy and purchase and invest in, they will not come back. They will not play the game. They will leave the game and they will go do something else. So Warframe knows this, just like Fantasy Flight. The owners of Marvel Champion know this. And what happens is, through the years, those characters that first came out, and in my case for Marvel Champions, it was the Avenger pack, where it has Spider-Man and Hulk and Thor and Black Panther, Captain Marvel. I'm trying to think of all the early characters. Oh, and She-Hulk, right? She-Hulk. And so those are the first characters that came out in the game. in 2025, if you go back and watch any channel out there, just pick a random channel and look at their tier list, you are going to find every single one of the Avenger heroes is on the middle or the bottom of the power ranking. In fact, the Hulk is the number one worst character in the game, even though he's probably either, he's in the top 5 most popular Marvel heroes in existence. The Hulk is like in the top 5 in like popularity. He is the worst hero in the game. And the reason for that is, well, they're released, and then the next version that comes out has to be more interesting. They have to be more powerful. They have to do more interesting things. They have to do something so that people go, ooh, I got to buy that character. I got to spend the money on that character. I got to invest in that money. I've got to, I got to come back to the game, or, oh, I want to play that character. I want to make sure I get the parts for that character. Oh, if I don't have the platinum, then I got to buy, spend my money to get the platinum for that character and all that stuff, right? If they were to come out, if Warframe comes out with a bunch of characters that nobody cares about and they don't do anything and they're terrible and they suck and they just, eventually people are going to leave the game and go find something else to play. And then the state of Warframe is going to go down, right? So every new release has to be more interesting. And what happens is all those characters that came out in the beginning get left behind in the dust and don't do anything. And that's where we're at in 2026, is that like most of the characters that have been like the characters that I grew up playing when I first started playing in 2016, 2017, right? Most of those characters are just terrible and can't do anything. Hydroid, he's got some, super cool abilities, and he's actually was reworked in 2024 from what I understand when I was away, right? And now he does a little bit of damage, and now his little tentacles that come out, the Kraken, actually grab enemies, and the damage is a little bit better, and so, yeah, he's fine, but like, when I left Warframe, like, the worst character in the game was Hydroid. Like, it's funny, when I came back, I was like, oh, I'm never playing Hydroid because he's probably still terrible. But then I saw someone playing him, I'm like, oh, he's pretty cool. So they went back and updated him a little bit, but he's still, like he doesn't do anything. Like, yeah, he casts his little tentacles out there and he grabs the enemies and sure, yeah, but like power level wise, like if you try and take him into Steel Path, he's gonna get murdered. Like he doesn't have the. You gotta take a good gun. You better take a good gun because his abilities just can't control the enemies. That he can't do what some. Sure, again. I don't want to say he can't, because if you get the perfect setup and you get, if you get all the right, the formas, and you get all of the shards on them, and, you get some kind of broken combination that maybe that he has that allows him to double dip or triple dip on his damage with his number 1 power or whatever, sure, maybe you can get him to do some Steel Path runs and do all that. I'm not saying he can't do that. It's just like, for me, he's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong. He's not bad. Again, the problem is in 2018, 2019, 2020, when I was hot and heavy and I was playing 1,000 hours of Warframe, like, those were kind of my heydays, or 20, 21, 22, probably 19, 20, 21. And then I quit for 2 years, came back in 2025, and now we're in 2026. Okay, so, I mean, that's kind of the general time frame what I'm talking about. When I left Warframe, Hydroid was the worst character. Nobody ever played him. He's just not played because he just was terrible. Like his power was he turns into a puddle. That was his special ability. Like, the biggest complaint I have about Warframe is the characters their powers don't do anything. Like DE, Digital Extremes, literally needs to sit down and figure out if Warframe is about Warframe or if Warframe is about the guns. If they want the guns and the melee to be the most important thing, because that's where all the action is, that's fine. But the powers that bring you to the game and make things interesting and the different characters are going to become very stale and nobody plays them because, like, they just don't do anything. Again, Hydroid, very basic, nothing going on there. Frost, he was another one of these characters. When we played a lot of Frost back in the day, like tons and tons of Frost. And then, the bubble, like then they nerfed the bubble. Why would you nerf the bubble? Like that's what he's known for, like his defensive thing. Like they're taking away the abilities of the Warframe and making the guns and the melee more important. Again, it's their game. They can do whatever the fuck they want. That's fine. But in my eyes, Warframe should be about the Warframes, not about the guns and not about the melee. The guns and the melee should supplement what your characters do, but when your characters fucking do shit, when they do shit, they don't do anything, then you rely on the guns and the melee to do all the damage for yourself. Because, that's what you have. Frost, terrible. Absolutely, I shouldn't say terrible. He's not terrible. He's fine. Again, 90% of these characters are fine. You have 4 good ones. You have 4 kind of on the lower end. I'm not going to say they're technically bad. And then you got, like, every other character is just, like, they're all the same. Garuda. For me, Garuda and Goss and Grendel and Geyer and Inaros, and Jade, and Lavos, and Loki, and Mag, and Mesa, and Mirage, and Nezha, and Nidus, and Noko, and Nova, and Nyx, Araxia, Protea, Corvix. They're all fine, but they're all the same. It's like, what gun you take into the fight? Like, if you take a shitty gun, you're in for a trouble because your character just, yes, Protea can do some damage, but if you don't have the right mods, she's not very survivable. You have to have the helmet system to get rid of her 4 power, which is, Protea is a super fun character. Okay, again, Grenade fan, like you're just spamming this over and over and over again and hoping that you doing enough damage to take over areas and do lots of damage to the enemy in there. And then of course get your blaze artillery to just like snipe enemies. It's a good combo and it does some stuff. You get your free energy through dispensary, you get your health orbs through dispensary. It's all fun stuff, but without roar, this build doesn't do anything. Like, you need the roar, you need the damage boost from roar that'll give more damage to your artillery, which means now your artillery will actually do something. Yes, your artillery will do something without roar, but it won't do as much damage. As you can see, I'm doing an extra 37% extra damage from having this out. Because her other abilities are just... I'm in a tough predicament. Like, I want to explain this, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on any heroes or, I'm not, I'm trying to be as neutral and open-minded when I'm talking about things and not talking about specifics, right? Can Protea go to Steel Path? Yes, absolutely she can go to Steel Path, and she can probably... if you get the right build, maybe do okay in Steel Path. Like if you helmet some stuff and you do this and that and other thing. But again, sometimes you're going to need to rely on your gun. You're going to need something else besides her abilities. I guess it's the main thing we're going for. There's 4 characters. They don't give a frickin' 2 hoots what gun you bring. Gara? She don't give 2 shits what gun you bring. You can bring the frickin' Stug. What is it? The Stug? That's the worst gun in the game. Is that what it's called? I forget. It's been years. Stug. Maybe it's not called the Stug. Maybe it's called something else. But she don't take any fucking weapon you want. Boom. Done. Build it however you want. It don't matter because she don't need it. The other characters, it does matter which gun you bring to the match. Because they're going to need it. Like when they don't have energy. When they don't have... if they don't have any energy orbs. Or oh shit, they took a direct rocket to the face. Or whatever. And you need to do something really quickly. You have to have a gun to kill the enemy that's standing there in your face. Gara, she don't give two shits who's there. She will kill them one way or the other. She's going to be doing 10 million points of damage by just walking around the map. And if you think I'm lying, go check out my survival mission we did the other day. Like, you compare that to Frost. Like, how is he going to do... Show me. Like, how is he going to do 10 million points of damage? Like, he can't. Like, his avalanche here does 1,725 damage. And it freezes enemies for 12 seconds. Right? And he's going to get some overguard because of this. Which is great for him, right? But then, you have your little snow globe, which was what he was known for to begin with, which now, like, it only has 5,836 health. So, like, the enemies end up blowing it up, like, in, like, 5 minutes into a mission. They're going to be dead. We'll take Frost on a mission. We'll take him into survival and see how much he struggle. Like, he is a struggle. He is a struggle to struggle by in Steel Path. Yes, he can do like a 5 or 10 minute one, but you're struggling and you better have a good gun with you to do it. Like Gara, like, she just stands there in the middle of the map like, come on guys, I'm waiting in you spawn because I need some life support. Like, as soon as you guys get over here, you're dead. And there's such a power level difference between these that it's just like, when I'm thinking at home, or when I'm thinking at work, like, which character am I going to play? And like 90% of the characters are like the same to me. Like, you got 4 characters that are super strong, and then you have a whole bunch of things that just don't do it for me. They just don't do anything. So, like, your 66 characters that are in the game are now, like, there's 4 characters. Like, that's all there is. Some characters are broken. Yes, I'm not saying that the fact that Gara is so strong, or Korra is so strong, or Hildryn is so strong, or Octavia is so strong. Those 4 characters are super, super strong, and they're broken. I've said that for many, many times. Like, those 4 characters are broken. The problem isn't that they're broken. The problem is these other characters don't freaking do anything. Like, I would love to play Corvex. Like, I would love to play this guy, but, like, how are you going to do damage with this guy? He's going to be doing 1,240 points of damage. Like, Steel Path enemies are going to come into play with, like, 10,000 or more hit points. Like, this does nothing to them. It's going to tickle them. And if they have any armor resistances or anything like that, like, how is this even going to do anything? Like, your only power that does anything is your Crucible Blast, and it does some pretty good damage, but, like, it drains your energy down to nothing. What are you going to do when you run out of energy? Like, yeah, you can kill a few guys with this, but then what? What are you going to do then? Like, you have to have a good weapon because you're going to need it. You're going to die. Like, he's just not at the power level you need to be at with the other characters. And it's because in Warframe, the Warframe abilities don't do anything. Like, 80% of them don't do anything. Like, they're just terrible. Terrible design. This is the way it's been for a long time, and it's bugged me. And again, the reason I'm talking about this, I'm sitting at work today thinking I'm going to play Warframe when I get home. Who am I going to play? And I'm like, I'm sick of playing the same 4 good ones. I want to play somebody else, but all your other characters suck. Why do all your other characters suck? Weapon is part of the game, and that's where the action is, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier. And Grandma, thanks for coming by. It is a struggle because you want the exciting part of your game to mean something, right? But let me ask you a question. Like, if you want a mission with me and I'm Gara and I just run into a room and just kill everyone by just walking up next to them, and you got to sit there and try and shoot them for 5 or 10 seconds just to kill one of them, won't you like say to yourself, wow, my character just isn't as cool as that character. Why is my character not as cool? And that's the problem I have in Warframe, right? Is that you have these power level structures that are so... You have such a clump of nothing. You have a clump of nothing. And the reason, again, you have a clump of nothing is because you spend all your energy and time coming up with new ideas for these new characters coming out because, again, you need the revenue, you need people to be interested in playing these characters, you want them to look cool, you want them to have all the new cool bells and whistles, you want them to be super strong, you want people to be like, ooh, I see this new character and I gotta play this one, I don't have the platinum, oh, I gotta buy me a platinum package so I can get the new platinum. It's a business model, yes, I understand that. But part of this business model, which I've been dealing with as a board gamer for years and years and years, is the longer a game goes, the more the characters that came out with to begin with are left farther and farther and farther behind. Look at all the really bad characters that are in the game right now, or all the characters that came out prior to 2020. Like all of the bad characters. Chroma is like one of the all-time worst. He's been around for years and years and years. Terrible, terrible character. Equinox, probably the least powerful character in the game, and she's got the most powers in the game because she's got a day and a night form, 4 for day, 4 for night, and she can switch between day and night. And she's still one of the worst characters in the game. Frost. Terrible. Doesn't do anything. Again, he's fine. All these characters are fine. They're not bad. I'm not saying any characters are bad. He just, like, what is he going to do? He better have a good gun or he's going to die. Let's see. Who else was some of the... Oh, Amber. Where's Amber? We haven't talked about Amber. Poor Amber. Poor Amber's been reworked so many times because for some reason DE has not figured out how to get heat to work for her. Even though she's supposed to be the heat Warframe, like, she, again, you take her into Steel Path, she's just going to get murdered. Like, literally get just killed. Like, you're going to spend your whole time running away from enemies. Like, is that what you want? Like, you better have a good gun or you're going to die. She's been around since, the first package that I bought there was Loki, and it was a dual pack with Loki and somebody else. I'm trying to remember. I played Loki and I think he came with Frost, and my friend played Frost Prime. So we both bought the package. I said, I'll play Loki, you play Frost Prime. That's why Loki's my number one character, because, we played all these years together online, and, that's, and again, let's talk about Loki. Like, what are you going to do as Loki? You can run around invisible, which is super cool, and it used to be something important when the enemies didn't know where you're at. If you've noticed recently in Warframe now, and I will prove my point, like the enemies know, let's switch over to Loki, like, your invisibility means absolutely positively nothing anymore in the game because the enemies now know. Let me switch back to my Baza here, which is, I should mention, my Baza is a silent gun. It is 100% silent. As you can see here, noise is silent, which means the enemies cannot hear my gun. They do not know that I'm shooting gun. They do not know that my invisible character is shooting gun, yet when I shoot the gun, every enemy runs over to where I'm standing for some reason. And this has been going on ever since I came back to Warframe. It's not the way it used to be. Let's just go into, let's go to a solo only. There we go. We'll just jump in an Annie mission to show you guys. I completely agree with everything you say. So let me catch up on the chat before I talk about this. So weapons are exciting, haha. I don't like to stand in a corner the entire time. That's boring. I'd rather be challenged. Just standing in a dead-end room, not doing anything is very boring. It's more fun to have this energy of movement, weapons, and the characters, and doing all the fun, interesting things. Absolutely. I 110% agree with everything you just said. Let me just prove my point here, and then we'll talk about that once I get out of this mission here. So I'm just going to get some energy real quick. So I have my energy. I'm going to go invisible. We'll start this up. Oh. Make sure I click the right thing.
They have just shut down all systems.
Again, I got a silent weapon, and I have a invisible character. I should be able to just shoot and not have the enemies come, like, running over to me. Like, oh, where is he? He's standing right here. So, like, now, if I come in, like, if I, it's on the room. I was hoping that was a room. But you'll see these guys, like, trail me all the way through the map. Like, all of a sudden they realize, oh, there's an invisible guy in the mission. Anyways, that's not really what we're talking about. But, so I just wanted to prove my point. Like, these guys now, like, invisibility used to be super cool because now you could do anything you want in the mission. As long as you had energy, you could just stay invisible. You could attack enemies. You could do all kinds of cool things. You can, you know, do spy missions. You can do all that fun, interesting, cool thing. But now you can't do that because every time you do something, they hear your footsteps or whatever they do nowadays. I don't know how they've changed it. Because, again, I quit Warframe for 2 years. So, I mean, there's a lot of changes that happened while I was gone. I didn't follow it. I didn't, you know, I didn't do anything with it. So, let's talk about this. So, I am in 110% agreement with everything Grandma said. Like, you want to be able to run around jumping and shooting and doing all these cool things. What I'm saying about Warframe is Warframe is the name of the game based on the name of the character you're playing. It's not I am shooting gun, right? Or I am space ninja. It's about the Warframes. And when 80 to 90% of your characters, 80 to 90% of your characters, their powers don't do anything, or they don't matter, or they just are weak, or they just, let's see, how do I put it? Like, again, all these characters that, like, I grew up loving and playing in 2018, 2019, 2020, like, all these characters have been left behind. They haven't been updated. Like, Loki, I can't even remember the last time Loki does, like, his abilities haven't changed in, like, 10 years. Like, his decoy, invisibility, whatever his third ability is, I forget what it was, and then radial disarm. Like, those are what he had for, like, years. That's what he had. That's what he did. He hasn't been updated. He hasn't been looked at. Like he's just in the game, and he's fine. There's nothing wrong. I love invisibility. I use him for everything. I'm one of the few Loki people out there. Like, I will fight for my Loki. If anyone says anything bad about Loki, like, they're gonna have to come after me because I'm coming after them. Like, I'll do a video about how Loki's is one of the strongest characters in the game because of the invisibility. Like, what you can do with him versus some of the other characters in the game. Invisibility is cool. Yes, it is cool. But, like, what does he do? He relies on his gun. Like, you don't give him anything else. And that's where, like, my problem with DE and their direction they're going with Warframe is they want to make, like, 1,000 characters that just are in the middle and they don't do anything. Like, they just don't do anything because they don't update them. They don't update them. They don't give them power. They don't want, let's see, how do I put it? They don't want the power level of Warframe to keep rising and rising because they keep giving characters powers, right? But yet the new characters that come in are more powerful because they need to revenue it, right? Like the last character that just come in, Ureli, like, let's compare Ureli to Loki. Like when you talk about, like, who's going to go in Steel Path? Like, I just picked up Ureli, and I formatted him one time, and Grandma, who's in the chat right now, hooked up with me and said, hey, let's do some Steel Path missions. I'm like, okay, sure. And we were running around in Steel Path, like, within the first hour I got Ureli, and I formatted him, I think, once or twice. I put a couple format on him and, got him some of the better mods and everything. And this new character, strangely enough, is running around in Steel Path. Like, no problem. And yes, I understand it's a business model, right? Yes, it's a business model. Where's you? RSTU. Where are we? Urel, where are you? Where the hell is he? Oh, there he is. But, like, if Urel is released and he's terrible and nobody likes him and he doesn't do anything and he's super weak, he's super powerful, and nobody's interested in playing him, those are all the characters, those are all players that DE is missing out on money on. Like, it's all about money. Like, it's about revenue for the game. And yes, I understand it's a business model, but the problem is, I've been dealing with this, again, I hate to keep going back to this, but Marvel Champions, 62 characters in the game. All the characters that were released when it was first released in 2019 are at the bottom of the power level. Again, go look at any Marvel Champions tier list, you will see all the Avenger characters, which are the original characters that were released in the game, are on the bottom of the list. And that's because all the new characters come out, have to have the new bells and whistles, they have to have the new cool powers, they have to have the new this, they have to be super powerful, they have, I wouldn't have bought Ureli. Like, that was 370 platinum I spent on this guy. Like, but I'm like, oh, cool, he's a cool looking demon, he's super powerful, I can take him to Steel Path. I mean, like, compare him to Loki. Like, what am I going to do with Loki? Like, what is Loki going to do in Steel Path? Like, how long do you think he can last? Sure, he can, like, run around invisible, but then I'm relying on my gun, again, to do all the damage for me. And why is that? Why is that? Because Loki's been around since, let's see. Let's see when Loki was released. Warframe. Release date. Release date for Loki. It was released October 25th, 2012. Okay? So, my number one buddy, Loki, which I love to death, you guys know that. Like, he's been around since 2012. I know he got a rework somewhere in, like, maybe 2016, 2017, 2018, I don't know, whatever the hell it was. But, like, now that we have Steel Path, like, has anyone at Digital Extremes spent more than 10 seconds in the last 5 years working on Loki to make a new design, to make him any better? Like, I don't know how many employees Digital Extreme has. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm sure it's a small company. Like, they're just probably scrapping by. And again, everything I say with love and with all good intentions. But the game is a Warframe based on Warframes doing things. And if you're not having your Warframes do anything, then you might as well call the game I Shoot With Gun. Like, if it's all about the guns, then that's how the game is headed, and I don't like it. I think the Warframes should be just as important as the gun. And like I said, like, 90% of these characters, like at least 80% of them. Like Gauss, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, he moves super cool and he moves super fast. And he shoots gun really fast. That's what he does. He shoots gun really fast. So there's a nice synergy with him shooting the gun. I don't have a problem with that, right? But not every character should rely on shooting gun. Like, that's what he does. Like, Geyer, like, she's fine. I like her. She's got a really cool outfit, but what does she do? She throws out a couple electrical balls, and if she take her into Steel Pass, she's going to get murdered. Haro, like, what are you going to do with Haro? He's got a super cool outfit. Like, the game looks great and plays great, and it's fun and interesting, but your Warframes suck because they don't do anything. Give the Warframes some abilities. Give them some power. Let them do something. Like, every character should have a really good power that, like, wow, if I hit my number 4, I'm going to kill 20 guys. Like, that's the way it should be. Gamma says, I kind of agree because when I was playing Tatiana the other night, I felt less powerful because I've been playing Uriel. Tatiana used to be my main when you find something better than others suck. I don't want all the Warframes to be on the bottom of the barrel. I want each of the Warframes to feel powerful enough. And, again, because of the business model, the small development team, whatever the decisions, all the characters that I grew up playing, Inaros, like, I mean, he's fine, but, like, he relies on the gun that he takes to the map. If you don't take a good gun and it's not decked out really well, he's not going to have a great time. Like, he just not. And again, I'm not trying to pick on any specific character because they're all about the same. Like, when you sit down and you've played Warframe for 3,700 hours, which is what Steam says I've been playing, like, and I look at the characters and I go, like, Necros, no. Nezha, no. Nidus, no. Nyx, no. Nova, no. Oberon, no. Corvex, no. Revenant, no. Siren, no. Temple, no. Trinity, no. Vubon, no. Like, I'm saying no to, like, most of these characters just because they don't do anything. They're all fine. They can all do things, but they just don't do enough to make them interesting. Like, Valkyrie got a rework last year, and now she's super strong. And she's one of the ones that I would be like, yes, I will play Valkyrie. Like, I will take Valkyrie into Steel Path. In fact, she was my first character I took into Steel Path. And she's super strong. And she's super viable. Why are all the other characters, like, lumped together in the bottom? Why? If you got a game called Warframe, your Warframe should do something. That's all I'm saying. Don't make it about guns. Make it about combinations. Make it about guns and Warframes working together to do things. Unfortunately, I've run out of time for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. I hope, again, I'm saying this with love and respect. I'm just trying to give you my opinions on things. Everyone's opinion can be different, but I've been playing long enough, and I see this trend. It's a very bad trend to get into when you take everything that you worked for in the first 10 years and leave it behind because you want to look towards the new stuff. Like all the new characters. Wisp, new character, super cool, super powerful. Strange how this is, like, Uriel, super new, super powerful. Let's see, who was the character before them? Necro, which is, like, most people's 2025 character of the year, like the newest addition to the game. And strange enough, I know this is weird, I'm going to say this one more time, he's super powerful. So why are all the new characters super new and powerful, but all the old characters, you can't do anything? Take Nidus in Steel Path. I want to see you take Nidus into Steel Path because he's terrible. Like, he can't do anything. I gotta go. Have a good night.